Let's take a closer look at how our key indices performed today. The markets showed mixed signals, with some indices gaining slightly while others faced declines. We'll explore the movements of Nifty 50, BSE Sensex, Nifty Bank, and Nifty 500, highlighting the key drivers behind these changes. Nifty 50 closed at 25,469, up by nearly 8 points. Over the past week, it has seen a decline of approximately 0.3%. Interestingly, the index has advanced by about 2% over the last month. With a 50% split in advances and declines today, it remains at a crucial support level. BSE Sensex ended the day at 83,500, gaining around 58 points. The index has faced a slight drop of about 0.2% over the last week. However, it has shown a robust increase of approximately 1.6% in the past month. With advances outpacing declines today, the market breadth appears positive. Nifty Bank finished at 57,142, up by nearly 193 points. Despite a weekly decline of about 0.5%, it has surged by approximately 1% over the last month. The index is currently near its resistance level, with a higher number of declines today, indicating some caution among investors. Nifty 500 closed at 23,512, down by 38 points. It has experienced a weekly drop of around 0.4%. However, over the last month, it has gained approximately 1.5%. The market breadth was skewed today, with a significant number of declines, reflecting a challenging environment for many stocks. In summary, the indices displayed varied performances today, with some gaining ground while others faced challenges. The market remains dynamic, reflecting investor sentiment. Welcome to our QA segment, where we dive into your burning questions about stock prices, technical levels, and market insights. We're here to provide you with the information you need to make informed decisions. Let's get started with our first question. Currently, Kotak Mahindra Bank is trading at 2,216.5 rupees, with a net change of 66.7 rupees, reflecting a 3.11% increase. The pivot points for Kotak Mahindra Bank show support 1 at 2,180.37 rupees, support 2 at 2,145.63 rupees, resistance 1 at 2,245.67 rupees, and resistance 2 at 2,276.23 rupees. Next up, Wipro is currently priced at 269.85 rupees, with a net change of 2.11 rupees, which is a 0.79% increase. For Wipro, the pivot points indicate support 1 at 267.72 rupees, support 2 at 266.53 rupees, resistance 1 at 269.72 rupees, and resistance 2 at 270.53 rupees. Wipro has a buy recommendation from JM Financial, with a recommended entry price of 265 rupees and a target price of 310 rupees. Currently, ICICI Bank is trading at 1,442.6 rupees, with a net change of 6.9 rupees, reflecting a 0.49% increase. Looking at the pivot points, we have support 1 at 1,434.07 rupees, support 2 at 1,424.63 rupees, resistance 1 at 1,448.87 rupees, and resistance 2 at 1,454.23 rupees. The recommendation for ICICI Bank is a buy, with the target price set at 1,650 rupees. You asked whether to buy or sell Waaree Energy after the IPO. The current stock price is 3,019.8 rupees, with a positive change of 3.53%. Looking at the pivot points, the first support level is at 2,932.73 rupees, while the second support is at 2,858.47 rupees. Resistance levels are at 3,065.53 rupees and 3,124.07 rupees. The current stock price of NTPC is 340.9 rupees, with a net change of 3.45 rupees, reflecting a 1.03% increase. In terms of pivot points, the first support level is at 337.73 rupees. The second support level is at 334.62 rupees. Resistance levels are at 343.23 rupees and 345.62 rupees. The recommendation for NTPC is a buy, with a target price set at 390 rupees. The current price of Bharti Airtel is 2019.9 rupees, reflecting a decrease of 0.69%. Looking at the pivot points, we have support 1 at 2009.53 rupees, support 2 at 2002.07 rupees, resistance 1 at 2029.73 rupees, and resistance 2 at 2042.47 rupees. The recommendation for Bharti Airtel is a buy, with a target price set at 2330 rupees. Today, ITC is trading at 416.35 rupees, with a slight increase of 0.05%. Looking at the pivot points, we have support 1 at 415.73 rupees, support 2 at 414.42 rupees, resistance 1 at 417.93 rupees, and resistance 2 at 418.82 rupees. Tata Consultancy Services is currently trading at 3,417.5 rupees, with a slight increase of 0.18%. The key pivot points for TCS include support 1 at 3,395.4 rupees, support 2 at 3,381.6 rupees, resistance 1 at 3,421 rupees, and resistance 2 at 3,432.8 rupees. HDFC Securities recommends adding TCS at a target price of 4,070 rupees. Now taking the next question, Adani Ports is trading at 1,436.7 rupees with a modest gain of 0.08%. For Adani Ports, the pivot points show support 1 at 1,428.83 rupees, support 2 at 1,421.77 rupees, resistance 1 at 1,444.13 rupees, and resistance 2 at 1,452.37 rupees. The current stock price of Reliance Industries is 1,533.5 rupees, reflecting a decrease of 0.52%. Looking at the pivot points, we have support 1 at 1,532.93 rupees, support 2 at 1,527.77 rupees, resistance 1 at 1,543.23 rupees, and resistance 2 at 1,548.37 rupees. Inox Wind is currently trading at 175.18 rupees, down 0.64%. The key pivot points for Inox Wind include support 1 at 173.83 rupees, support 2 at 172.42 rupees, resistance 1 at 177.26 rupees, and resistance 2 at 179.28 rupees. The recommendation for Inox Wind is a buy at 170 rupees, with a target price of 187 rupees. Now taking the next question, JK Cement is trading at 6,290.5 rupees, up 0.72%. For JK Cement, the pivot points show support 1 at 6,208.33 rupees, support 2 at 6,125.17 rupees, resistance 1 at 6,356.83 rupees, and resistance 2 at 6,422.17 rupees. The recommendation for JK Cement is a buy at 5,819 rupees, with a target price of 6,750 rupees. Ultratech Cement is currently trading at 12455 rupees, with a net change of 110 rupees, reflecting a 0.9% increase. The pivot points show support at 12321 rupees and 12253 rupees, with resistance levels at 12441 rupees and 12493 rupees. The recommendation is to buy at 12345 rupees, with a target price of 12600 rupees. Now taking the next question, Vedanta is trading at 456.7 rupees, with a net change of 2.5 rupees, showing a 0.56% increase. The pivot points indicate support at 451.65 rupees and 449.6 rupees, with resistance levels at 456.3 rupees and 458.9 rupees. The recommendation is to buy at 455 rupees, with a target price of 461 rupees. Nestle India is currently trading at 2,420.6 rupees, with a slight decrease of 0.07%. The pivot points for Nestle India show support 1 at 2,408.03 rupees, support 2 at 2,396.17 rupees, resistance 1 at 2,433.73 rupees, and resistance 2 at 2,447.57 rupees. Now taking the next question, let's look at Coal India, which is trading at 383.1 rupees, down by 0.3%. For Coal India, the pivot points indicate support 1 at 381.67 rupees, support 2 at 380.38 rupees, resistance 1 at 384.87 rupees, and resistance 2 at 386.78 rupees. What's the analyst recommendation for Tata Motors? The current stock price is 690.9 rupees, with a slight increase of 0.3%. Looking at the pivot points, we have support 1 at 686.95 rupees, support 2 at 682.5 rupees, resistance 1 at 696.4 rupees, and resistance 2 at 701.4 rupees. According to ICICI Securities, the recommendation is to add with a recommended price of 687 rupees and a target price of 775 rupees. What's the latest on Adani Enterprises stock? The current stock price is 2,584.4 rupees, with a net change of 8.31 rupees, reflecting a 0.33% increase. Looking at the pivot points, we have support 1 at 2,572 rupees, support 2 at 2,559 rupees, resistance 1 at 2,599 rupees, and resistance 2 at 2,613 rupees. HCL Technologies is currently trading at 1,714.3 rupees, with a slight increase of 0.23%. The intraday pivot points show support 1 at 1,696.07 rupees, support 2 at 1,678.53 rupees, resistance 1 at 1,722.57 rupees, and resistance 2 at 1,731.53 rupees. The recommendation for HCL Technologies is to add, with a target price set at 1,800 rupees. The current price of HDFC Bank is 1,987.7 rupees, with a slight increase of 0.02%. Looking at the pivot points, we have support 1 at 1,900,